Did money replace trust? Trust was once personal. You knew who you traded with, you knew who owed you. You knew who would remember your debts and their own. Then something changed. A profound shift occurred in the very fabric of human interaction. Trust no longer lived between people. It moved into objects. Cold, hard objects, metal, marks, numbers. This is the story of that pivotal moment, the story of when money replaced trust. Before money, every single exchange required trust. It was the currency of early economies. Trust in memory, trust in reputation, trust in the strength of your community. If you promised to deliver grain next harvest in exchange for a tool today, your word was everything. If someone broke that trust, the consequences were severe. They were excluded from the economic life of the group. And in a small community, exclusion was a form of economic death. Trust wasn't optional, it was the essential ingredient for survival. The entire system of trade, of favors, of mutual support rested on this invisible foundation. But this system had its limits. Trust works brilliantly in small, tight-knit groups where everyone knows everyone else. But what happens when societies grow? When strangers start appearing at the edge of the village? When trade routes stretch over vast distances, memory begins to fail. You can't possibly know everyone, and you can't track every single obligation across a growing network of people. The personal, relationship-based system of trust began to slow down trade. It became a bottleneck. Something more efficient, more scalable, was needed to keep society moving forward. This is where money enters the story, but not in the way you might think. Money didn't appear as a symbol of wealth, it appeared as a shortcut. It was an incredible innovation designed to solve the problem of trust. It was a way to trade without knowing the other person, without needing to remember a complex web of favors, without having to personally trust them at all. The coin in your hand whispered a powerful message: you do and need to trust the person you're retrading with. Trust this object instead. This was revolutionary. Money carried trust in a physical, transferable form. It was a symbol, a piece of metal or a marked shell that was accepted by everyone, backed by the authority of a ruler or a state, and enforced by their power. Suddenly, trust moved from individual people to impersonal systems. You didn't need to trust the farmer. You just needed to trust that the coin he gave you would be accepted by the blacksmith. This abstraction of trust allowed for interactions on a scale never before imagined. It was a brilliant solution, but it was also a dangerous one. The benefits were immediate and staggering. Money acted like a supercharger for trade. Markets expanded exponentially. With a universal medium of exchange, people could specialize in their crafts, knowing they could sell their goods to anyone. Shoemakers made shoes, farmers grew food, and builders built homes, all without needing direct barter relationships. Civilizations scaled up, creating complex economies and sprawling cities. You could trade with complete strangers, across vast regions, even across different cultures, all thanks to this shared object of trust. Money created unprecedented growth and prosperity. But that growth came at a cost. What did we lose in this transition? Money quietly removed a layer of personal accountability from our transactions. You no longer needed a relationship, you only needed to make the payment. The moral obligation that was once tied to a promise began to weaken. Social bonds, which were reinforced with every trusted exchange, started to thin out. Trust, the very foundation of early society, became optional. Money worked even when personal trust was completely gone. The cold, hard logic of payment replaced the warm, complex world of human relationships. But trust didn't just disappear. It transformed, it shape-shifted. Today, we don't place our trust in the person at the bank counter. We trust the banking system itself. We trust the governments that issue our currency. We trust the vast, invisible institutions that regulate our economies. We have outsourced our trust to complex systems we can't see or fully comprehend. And here lies the new danger. When these systems fail, when a bank collapses or a currency hyperinflates, there is no single person to face. There is no one to hold accountable in the way you could in a small village. The failure is systemic, abstract, and devastating. In the end, money replaced personal trust, but it never fully erased it. Every financial crisis, every economic collapse rips away the veil and reveals a fundamental truth. When money fails, our trust in each other is all we have left. The real question isn't whether money replaced trust, it did. The more urgent question we must ask ourselves is this: can a society truly survive when that deeper, human trust is gone? Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, please consider liking and subscribing for more.